Hello. So recently I acquired a bunch of random Lego Harry Potter pieces. No complete sets, as you can see. I've got a good portion of Privet Drive. I've got a good portion of, I think, like a Astral Observatory or something, and even a good portion of the 2018 Great Hall. And you see the Whomping Willow back there, that one too. And I have a big bucket of pieces, and also inside this lot I received it's a bunch of Technic pieces to some crane. But I thought today would be a good opportunity to talk about the Lego Harry Potter theme, or at least its most modern incarnation, as I think there's stuff to say about it. Now, to start off, one thing about the Lego Harry Potter theme, I'll start with the history. So Lego Harry Potter was the second big licensed theme that Lego made after Star Wars in 2001. The first themes, the first waves were more so based on the book more than the movie, which was really interesting because it allowed Lego an extra degree of creative freedom that they wouldn't really be allowed in later waves. So these first ones kind of had this super magical feeling, whether it be through their goofiness or their inventive pieces or their play features. There was just something beautifully magic about them. There were even like these sort of dollhouse sets that had all these crazy, beautiful colors and just wonderful pieces. There was something really special about the early Harry Potter sets. And while over time they kind of went through the same path as Lego Star Wars did, where they sort of take out a lot of that magic and replace it with, film accuracy or realism, or maybe those pieces stopped existing that kind of allowed for all that fun stuff. And the theme was discontinued in 2007, I believe, with the last set being a Order of the Phoenix version of the Hogwarts Castle. And that was all fine and good until it came back in 2010 or 2011. There was one wave there too, where they came back in a bit of a nullified state, where there were still some little bits of that old personality that were holdovers. Specifically in Hagrid's hut, you could see a lot of similar design to the 2004 Hagrid's hut, and other little holdovers like that. But it was really moving towards movie accuracy. But another thing about these old Harry Potter sets is that, specifically in the early waves, and I think the Prisoner of Azkaban wave, they had this system of modularity where all of the different sets you got could kind of be put together in a similar Hogwarts system, as they all resided on the same 8x8 brick piece that could be, put together and morphed around and all of that. And despite these builds being kind of eclectic in design, they fit together and made for quite a great display, specifically like when you combine the Chamber of Secrets with the original Hogwarts Castle. I think that it was just really fun, and I think they stand on their own as good play sets, but when you combine them, they just became all the more fun. And in 2018, probably due to the Fantastic Beasts films being made, they decided to reboot the Harry Potter theme. And it just didn't, in my opinion. So this reboot, it happens in 2018, far into the evolution of Lego and the kind of the license takeover. Harry Potter was, I guess, I don't know. Lego bring back themes like this and making them mainstays. It's just interesting when it's like a licensed theme, because that doesn't happen too often. Usually a licensed theme will happen, and then either it gets rebooted as something completely different, or it just, or it just never comes back. Like the Spider-Man theme started as a thing for Lego Studios before getting some weird sets and some 4+ sets, and based on the Raimi films. And then it comes back as part of Marvel Superheroes, like basically completely different. But Harry Potter has sort of came back as a modern take on the original version of the idea, where you have all these modular Hogwarts sections that can combine together, which is all good stuff. It's a good thing. I like the idea. But the problem is that unlike those original sets, these new ones focus a lot on accuracy, and given the fact that all of these Hogwarts locations all take place in Hogwarts, a tan giant building, almost all of the sets just have the same tan pieces over and over again. And that'd be okay. You know, the original had a lot of gray, a lot of tan, a lot of sand green, same stuff in basically all the sets. But in the original sets, they had tons of unique pieces that were specifically for the line, or even just like, you know, just fun things to differentiate it, crazy characters and stuff. And there's just this feeling of, I don't know, this feeling of wonder and whimsy, while these new sets all feel exactly the same. They all have the same builds for stuff like potions, you know, it's always just a little cylinder and then they add something on top. They all have the same sticker details where you have these panel pieces that either have a sticker on the outside for detail or on the inside. And it just gets so repetitive, and even stuff that's supposed to be different, like this privet drive, this is still just a tan building. It just happens to be one that's a house. And I know that's probably accurate, but the original, if I remember right, was dark orange, which is a really new, unique color. It kind of had a Lego town feeling. While I do think this is a really nice build, what I have of it, it just feels exactly the same as those other Hogwarts expansions. And to a point, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why is this whole theme like on autopilot? It feels like, where it's like every set feels exactly the same. And even then, in terms of like memorable locations, it feels like they've run out, because the newer waves just feel like they're reaching deeper and deeper into just obscure stuff that like isn't iconic, I guess, or like the stuff that they choose to make iconic is stuff that like is stuff that me, as someone who read the Harry Potter books as a child but hasn't since barely even remember. Like, they're making a direct consumer version of the Burrow, and it's just crazy that like that is like one of the things they've latched on to. It's like, oh, this is the Harry Potter thing. Like, this is the Harry Potter version of the TIE Fighter. And there's like 5 different Flying Ford sets, or Flying Fords and other sets. It just seems like there's just like a lack of stuff to draw from for Harry Potter. And there are a lot of characters, but the actual minifigures for these characters tend to be kind of boring. Like, a lot of them don't have like arm printing or leg printing, and a lot of them just kind of have very normal looking clothes, which I would find cool, and honestly I do in some cases. There is a Dumbledore minifigure somewhere, or most of a Dumbledore minifigure, that I think is absolutely fantastic. I love this outfit. I think this is a beautiful looking outfit. I love this thing. And I also love that it doesn't have any tan skin on it, so you can make it universal for any minifigure. So I'll definitely be doing that. But I don't know, because like a lot of these like boring outfits, you can't really retrofit for anything else, because like this is a Hogwarts outfit, you know, like it or hate it, like that's what it is, and you can't really change it. It's specifically because the logo's there, the coloring, everything. I mean, you could, you know, say like, oh yeah, it's not Hogwarts, but it's just kind of hard to retrofit it outside of that context. Which is why I like this figure so much. And it just kind of makes the Harry Potter theme feel very insular and also pretty limited. Where like the parts of it, most of it is just so homogenous, but also too specific to kind of bring it outside of the Harry Potter context, I guess. And I just think that's really unfortunate. What I will say is that the designs of these sets are good. They're castle designs, which is something that Lego used to be able to do on an original scale. And while these aren't while these aren't as imaginative as the castle designs Lego would come for their original themes, they do have a certain charm to them, and there is a beauty in the architecture where they are able to make some pretty nice looking buildings. That's another thing. So when Lego Harry Potter came out in 2001, previously, in 2000, there was the theme Knight's Kingdom, and that theme wasn't very good, but it was a castle theme, and, you know, castle themes were kind of a regular thing that went in and out every year or two, but Harry Potter was the castle theme of 2001, and 2002, and 2003, and part of the reason that Harry Potter kind of slowed down from 2004 to 2006 is because Knight's Kingdom 2 came along. So you kind of get the idea that Lego considers Harry Potter to more or less be a castle theme in the same way that when Lego Star Wars is really going off, you know, they don't really focus that much on Lego Space, because they kind of consider Star Wars to fill that bill, which I guess makes sense. Think about how in 1999 there was no space theme, and how, you know, when Star Wars, the prequel films kind of slowed down in 2007, that's when we got, you know, Mars Mission, and, you know, we got a few more space themes for a little bit before Disney bought Star Wars, and then Star Wars became much bigger of a thing. And then, hey, we stopped getting space themes. Look at that. It's kind of sad, but the pattern is there. And for Castle, the same thing happened, you know. After Knight's Kingdom 2, you had Castle 2007, and while that ran, there was a little bit of time concurrently where the reboot of Harry Potter ran at the same time as Lego Kingdoms. But after Kingdoms ended, there was Castle 2013, which sucked. And then there was Elves, which kind of fit that mantle for a few years in between there. And then we got Harry Potter in 2018, and it's been 6 years, and we've had no Castle theme. Nothing, just these Harry Potter builds that are very samey. And yeah, we get Harry Potter instead of a Castle theme, which is just kind of unfortunate because Castle is way more than just the castles, you know? Like, there's the weird boats, which Harry Potter does have a few really cool boats, but like, there's the boats, the ramming machines, there's the knights, there's all the factions, there's the forestmen. There's so much more to Castle than just castles, but when Harry Potter is the castle theme, all we seem to get is these tan structures. And even then, like, the roofs are all dark gray and like new dark gray. It's just like there seems to be a lack of interesting colors and pieces, because like it seems like they just kind of, all the pieces that they use for these sets, these panel pieces, are just leftovers from other themes. Like these castle wall pieces from the original castle theme, but without any of the cool printings. They just shove stickers on them. And these sort of like these rounded pieces, like these are also old ones that, not from Castle or anything, but they just have been around for so long. And it's just having them take up a lot of builds and, you know, using them for so much just kind of feels lame. Cause it's like, it just feels like every build is just the same. And it just sucks. Like, look at like this, all the modulars, like it's really hard to tell what comes from each set because it all just blends in. It really blends in, and it sucks in that way. You know, it's just, there's just like a lot of unfortunate stuff about the whole Harry Potter thing. And while I think these pieces are good in general, I think you could you could definitely take these and make something great out of them. Because you could make your own castle, your own Hogwarts castle. You know, not just combining the sets that already exist the way Lego intended, but rebuilding them into something else. I think that's really good. I've used tan a lot in the past. It's one of my favorite Lego colors. Just, you know, very versatile for a lot of different things. It looks really good with brown, with the original brown color. Also looks okay with the new brown color, but I like old brown better because, you know, I'm a classic Lego fan. But just the way they manifest in these sets, they just kind of feel exposable. Not exposable, expendable. Exposable? You know, interchangeable, whatever. You know what I mean. I'm feeling feral right now, to be honest, but whatever. Yeah, so I guess that's my thoughts on the Lego Harry Potter theme, or kind of a weird basic overview. I will say this Great Hall set is all right. I like the big doors. Those are unique. The build of it's pretty good. I don't have the roof or anything, so I've got this, you know, lunch room. I wish these sets had more play features, because it feels like the idea of combining them together is the play feature most of the time. So they kind of don't really have more traditional stuff, and if they do, it's very small and kind of insignificant. I really would like these Harry Potter sets to kind of go all out with play features. And I do think there are good ones and bad ones and better ones and worse ones. But I guess this is just my gripes with this theme that seems to just be never ending. And within that never ending time, it just seems to lack innovation, lack something new, keeping it together more than just random stuff like, oh, wizard cards or chocolate frog like cards and stuff like that. I just think it needs something more, and Lego Castle had something more, and without it, it's just so obvious what this Lego Harry Potter theme is lacking. And yeah, I'm not a huge fan of licensed themes for this reason, because this just happens a lot. Whenever a licensed theme comes in, it just takes the spot of a you know, an idea that would traditionally be done, you know, with Lego's own design team and stuff, like Lego dinosaur stuff that used to happen all the time. We had Dinosaurs 2001, then we had Dino Attack, and then we had Dino 2012, and then after Jurassic Park, that was it. Now we just get Jurassic Park, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, there was Jurassic Park 3 sets in 2001, but that was a studio's thing. But just, this whole thing is just so cynical, because it's like you can just see the difference so clearly, and just like licensed versus non-licensed, just like the life being breathed out of it. It just feels so stifling, and it's hard not to see that in Lego Harry Potter, even though these builds are all right, even though I can never, I don't have all the pieces to all of them and such.